I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Fucking A.
Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Dakota, as for a film called True Vengeance from 1997. And it's directed by a guy named David Worth. Now David Worth, his name has been attached to some films, including The First Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme, as well as a movie called Warriors of the Lost World, film from the 80s starring Robert Ginty, who starred in the Exterminator movies. Now, the film stars Daniel Bernhardt. Daniel Bernhardt, I would say, is just a much lesser version of Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is why they had him in the Bloodsport sequels. That's probably what he's most famous for. Although he does quite a bit of work nowadays. I mean, he was in the Matrix sequels. And, let's see, like the past few years, he was in Parker with Jason Statham. He had a fight with Jason Statham in that film. He was the bad guy in Kill 'Em All with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Which, yeah, I thought it was funny that, oh, it's Van Damme versus Daniel Bernhardt. Like, Van Damme versus the knockoff Van Damme. At least that's how I view it. You have him in John Wick, the first John Wick. You have him in, what was it? I guess he was in Logan. That's what it says in his credits. But yeah, he's picked up quite a few roles recently. Apparently he's going to be in the new Matrix film as Agent Johnson, I believe is the name of his character that was in the other Matrix movies. I can't really say I grew up much with Daniel Bernhardt. I would say he's, for me, a lower tier of action heroes. I don't absolutely dislike Daniel Bernhardt, but I don't put him up there with the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Stallones, Dolph Lundgrens, or with the Jeff Speakmans, or early Steven Seagal. He's okay. He's pretty damn good in martial arts, though. His acting, like I said, for me, he's a lesser Van Damme. I would say I even like Oliver Gruner, or as some people say, Olivier Gruner. I would put him above Bernhardt. acting-wise, he's serviceable, but he's a talented martial artist, and this is a movie that's just it came out in 1997, but it's definitely an ode to the early 90s, late 80s, over-the-top action film that's silly. It's fun at times. There's some pretty entertaining action set pieces for the low budget, and it's a movie where it's over the top, and I don't know if I want to say it knows it's over the top. The plot is kind of in the vein of Commando, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, where he's a guy with a past, his daughter's kidnapped, he's told to do this mission, but then he changes things up and tries to go after the people that took his daughter. There's a timeline. He only has this amount of time to try to find his daughter. Only in this case, in less than 24 hours, his daughter's going to suffocate because she's in this, I don't know what the hell you call it. Like, she only has enough air. Other people in the film, you have a guy named Miles O'Keefe. He was in a couple films back in the day, including one I reviewed called Sword of the Valiant. That's the movie where Sean Connery dressed up as a fucking Christmas tree. I mean, it was supposed to be the Green Knight, but he looked like a fucking Christmas tree. Rest in peace, Sean Connery, but holy shit. That was an awful fucking film. But Miles O'Keefe was in the A-Tour movies, at least some of them back in the day. He plays a villain that pops up at the very beginning of the film and doesn't show up till like the second half. Almost as if it's trying to be this movie's Bennett from Commando, I guess, in a way, and the fact of past history with this guy, and then they fight, have a fight at the end. Because it starts off in Colombia in 1986, where there's this mission that involves women and children. Daniel Bernhardt says, hold your fire. Miles O'Keefe don't give a fuck, just fires and shoots on everybody. Women, men, kids, don't matter. So Daniel Bernhardt shoots him, thinks he's got him, find out later it's not the case. So it's present day, it's his daughter's birthday, gives her this necklace, and at first I'm like, that's a really shitty necklace, but then you're told that, oh, it was her mom's. Oh, okay, that's why. Is that why it's shitty? It just, I don't know, just look like shit, but yeah, it is mom's. Thankfully, the little kid doesn't have much lines, because she can't act for shit. I mean, I know she's a kid actor, but I'm just saying she still can't act for shit. And he has this job. One thing leads to another. He gets pulled back the end of the end. Someone warns him, hey, someone's coming after you, you old adept. Finds a tape, plays it. Like I said, in less than 24 hours, do this, or your daughter will suffocate. And you're supposed to kill some CEO of some virtual memory technology firm, because was it the Yakuza? They want to be the top guys in virtual memory technology. Now, if you're wondering if the plot ever goes into this whole virtual memory technology thing, like, does it get used? Does someone use it to help further their mission or help overcome the bad guys? No. It's just that's what the bad guys want. Nothing is really done with virtual memory technology. Part of me didn't even know what the fuck that meant. Like VR? But no, whatever. Now, when I said he's a lesser Van Damme, it's because even in this film, there'll be times he does like, yeah, like Van Damme would do, the yell, and then would do certain kicks like Van Damme. He's very good martial artist, very agile, he's great with the kicks, he's smooth with his movements. The fight scenes, the choreography, I don't really have much issue with them. And there's quite a bit of actions, and it's 90-some minute running time, so you don't really get bored. But yeah, there are times I watch it, you're not quite Van Damme. But even at this point, it's like, yeah, play off a little bit of the Van Damme as like, yeah. Like, he fights this guy who he's supposed to be working with, but the guy wants to kill this woman, and Bernhardt's like, no. And so they fight. And then, speaking of Commando, 20 minutes in, he gears up like Arnold did in Commando. Oh, I guess this movie's like, we gotta do that faster. So it's fun. Some people call it cheesy, but I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff where they gear up and there's the knife and there's the gun and here's this and here's that and it's just gearing up. You see this part, boom, there's a knife there, boom, you're just gearing up. And for the rest of the film, he pretty much wears this flat jacket, which looks cool on him. It's a nice look for our hero. So, but I'm a sucker. Not all the time. That's like everything, but usually I'm a sucker for these kind of one-man army 80s, 90s action films. I mean, one of the bad guys at the end, which if I remember, I'm going to put this at the beginning, he gets the gun, he could easily shoot the guy. And if I don't forget, it's going to be at the beginning, it's going to be probably like after the intro, yeah, early in this video. When he's fighting the bad guy, he gets the gun, he can just shoot him. He's got to do something extra cool. He's got to do a double kick, I guess, to get the guy further away from him and then shoot. I'm like, well, that's not how guns work. You just shoot him up close. But I guess, it looks cooler, I guess. It looks cooler to just be like, ah, pa, pa, pa. Hey, works for me. It looked cool, so there you go. I guess this type of movie, I'm more lenient on them trying to look cool, because the movie itself, you know, going in, they had a small budget, and it's a direct-to-video. It's a film that just, I don't go into these type of films with high expectations, so if it has at least some fun and a plentiful amount of action, and the hero is at least alright, yeah, I have to be a sucker for it. Although there's probably a few moments that did make me laugh unintentionally. For example, there's these bad guys who beat up this cop who's on the case of, you know, all this stuff going on. A security guard comes by and sees bad guys, including a guy with an Uzi. Now, if you're a security guard and you go up to a group of people, including one holding an Uzi, do you A, pull out your gun, or B, keep your gun in the air and go, hold it? If you pick B, you'd be like this guy and fucking dead. And yeah, there's a guy holding an Uzi, and the guy, hold it. You stupid fuck. The bad guys, I don't remember the actor's name, but some of the bad guys, one is a guy, I've seen him in bit parts quite a few times. For example, if you remember the first Rush Hour, if you remember the scene where the little girl, Soo-Yun, is being driven and she's listening to that song, and you have these two guys up front being annoyed by her singing. The guy driving, he's the guy who's the villain in this. Also, another guy who's a villain, he was the main bad guy in Shanghai Noon, who Jackie Chan was battling at the end. And yeah, I forget his name too. And they've been in quite a few films, both of them. Like, they're guys that you've seen pop up from time to time. Oh, the main bad guy who I said was in Rush Hour, he was also in Weekend at Bernie's. He was the gardener. He's one of the people that walks in and our two leads in Weekend at Bernie's knocked them out. He's like coming, he's like, what the hell? Oh. But I mean, I'm a sucker for Weekend at Bernie's, so I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy. But I mean, Daniel Bernhardt does kick quite a bit of ass, either with kicks, fisticuffs, some M16 action, including a headshot here or there. The lines of dialogue he's trying to do, you think you could kill me? Breaks a neck. No one could kill me. I guess you either go with it or you don't, and I guess I was going with it, because it made me laugh, probably not what the movie intended it to be. And I'm usually a guy that sincerely loves films like this. I sincerely love this film. I sincerely love Commando. I sincerely love Rambo 2 and 3. I sincerely love The Perfect Weapon and Deadly Outbreak and many others. But this is a film that it did, when the way Daniel Bernhardt attached these lines, it did make me like, but it was still entertaining. You think you could kill me? No one can kill me. Yeah, just sort of stuff of that nature. Let's see. Again, there's plentiful moments where Daniel Bernhardt, he goes from point A to point B to point C, fighting, or shooting and fighting. There's even a point at this club where they do a little bit of the John Woo, two guns blazing, trying to go backwards on the cart. He's rolling on the ground. Someone goes, "I'd rather die." And Daniel Bernhardt goes, "Okay," and kills him. Even the point that he gets hurt and he literally takes shotgun shell powder to put it on there. That's the thing, that it almost... I was going to say it almost feels like a parody, but maybe that's going too far. Like, it's really just try to be the 80s, 90s, and that was almost endearing in a way, because it's doing that, but still being its serious type of film. I think that's one of the reasons I enjoyed it. I miss that over-the-top stuff. I fucking love Rambo 3. Where he's got the wound, heals it there. Right, this is as badass as Rambo 3. This is just like a little thing and heals it there. Rambo, though, he had a big fucking hole, and you see the fire go right through his body. And I'm like, Rambo survives that shit. Fuck yeah. But, let's see. The only time it really got dragged down is they introduced, I mentioned there was a cop. They introduced this lady who's a naval intelligence lady who partners up with the cop. I didn't think she was that good of an actress. And they go from point A to point B, following behind. You really did not need this stuff. You did not need her. I don't know why they had her. Imagine in Commando, you had some cop and some other person. Like even that guy Kirby in Commando, who I liked. And they did this a teeny bit, but imagine there's a lot more of that Kirby just following and took up big chunks of the film. Well, not big chunks, but like Commando did it well in comparison. Like Commando, you had the Kirby character who's that he pops it every once in a while, and it's very briefly, maybe like 30 seconds. Just to pretty much say how badass Arnold is. Here, I don't care about this naval intelligence lady. I don't care if she knows a history on Daniel Bernhardt and she thinks he's a turncoat, even though he really isn't, and there's more to the story. And yet she wasn't really that much of an actress. This whole subplot could be completely cut out. Not needed. Doesn't really bring anything to the table. Because all that gets brought back with that, spoiler alert, spoilers, the cop goes in, has Daniel Bernhardt, Miles O'Keefe comes in, shoots the cop, Daniel Bernhardt escapes, which is funny because he jumps out the window. As he jumps out the window, he does a yell as if he was Van Damme. Yeah! The naval intelligence lady thinks Daniel Bernhardt did it. Of course, he didn't. But she has, like, no... She doesn't help him at the end. It's not like she helps him get away at the end. It's not like she helps defeat the bad guy. This is clearly a pointless character. That it seems like it's only in there for filler. Like I said, you could easily cut her out. It would not make much of a difference. Storyline wise, and even pacing wise, it'd be even more improved. So I would say that was the weakest part of the film. If you go into this knowing it's a 90s action film with some fun blood squibs, Miles O'Keefe, he's trying to have a little fun with his role as a specialist who loves folding these cranes, these little crane burrs, because apparently if you fold 1,000 of them, you're going to be rewarded with good fortune. And someone even goes, "That's a really shitty crane." And he gives the guy a look. That was a line that made me laugh, because I didn't expect that. She was to go, "That's a really shitty train." But yeah, I mean, at least you have a scene that's trying to do a little bit of John Woo with a low budget. You get a little bit of motorcycle chase. the ending tries to be a bit like Commando, like the place where the shootout happens seems like a low budget version of Commando, the set in there. And I get it, in many action films, you have the hero that always hits and the bad guys that always miss. But this got ridiculous where, imagine me and then imagine the end of this bed. There are times where they're that close, it seems, and the bad guys miss him, but the good guys... I'm like, come on, man. At least a little bit of cover. At least have like a tree you're behind. A little wall, a shed, something, man. At least try a little bit with that. But then you try with the pistol, machine gun, gets in a sword fight with Miles O'Keefe, even does a Superman punch as if he's Roman Reigns. Well, that's a wrestler, some people might not know. It's a Superman punch where Daniel Bernhardt goes up, punch. I thought that looked pretty cool. Beats him up, does a drop kick, shoots him while going backwards. Like I said before, granted, he already took away the gun, he just shoot him. I gotta do something extra. Granted, the drop kick didn't technically do anything, just made him go back, but I guess, hey, for shits and giggles, why not? Has a little sword fight with the main bad guy. That goes by very quick. Gets his daughter. Everything's fine. So yeah, I would say if you like action films in the 90s nature, machismo, bigger than life, over the top, but granted, it's still low budget. There's fisticuffs, there's firepower, there's some nice squibs. Again, there's like one really decent headshot. It's a film that you're not taking super seriously, just going into fun, for fun, to enjoy as fun, F-U-N, fun, which sometimes is missing in films nowadays. Like I said, Daniel Bernhardt is not my choice of an action star. If you took the exact same film, the exact same stuff, and you have maybe Jeff Speakman or Dolph Lundgren or even Van Damme himself, I think it'd be pretty damn cool. But Daniel Bernhardt, he was okay. He was alright, like a C. Maybe I would call him like maybe B, C level action star for me. And like I said, the whole naval intelligence lady, you didn't need her story at all. She could be completely... She doesn't come in till maybe, I don't know, halfway through the film. And it's like, okay, fuck this storyline. Just stick with him, looking for his daughter, place to place, beating people up. Be even more than fine. So, but yeah, like I said, if you like Daniel Bernhardt, if you like these type of films in the 90s, if you like films... Bad Blood with Lorenzo Lamas, and yeah, I mentioned, I'm a fan of Jeff Speakman's films, especially his early, like Daily Outbreak, Street Night. Zero Tolerance is a really good one with Robert Patrick. I would put that above this. Some of the films maybe with Cynthia Rothrock, other, that type of era of action films. It's an entertaining one. And I saw it for free on YouTube. I don't know if it's there now, but it was when I saw it, so you check it for free on YouTube, get some fun out of it. There you go. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.